I'm sure by now we've all seen a Dodge Charger Scat Pack or a Hellcat at a local car meet takeover burning $500 worth of tires in a solid 46 seconds. But what if I told you that those aren't the only trims of the Dodge Charger and that there's actually well over 10 trims for this car just from the year 2015 until 2023, when sadly Dodge announced the end of production on their V8 Hemi engines, which we will touch on later on in this video. But for now, let's go ahead and start off this video with the cheapest and the lowest trim possible on a Dodge Charger, which is called the SXT trim, which actually stands for Standard Extra, with the extra being silent because there's nothing extra about this car, with the engine being the 3.6 liter V6 Pentastar, producing 292 horsepower and doing the 0 to 60 miles per hour in just over 6 seconds, which honestly isn't slow, but by today's standards for a muscle car, it's not very fast either. On the exterior of the car, you will also receive these 17-inch aluminum wheels without any performance hood scoops or even a rear spoiler, and on the inside this car comes with the cloth seats and the smaller infotainment system, which still provides you with Apple and Android CarPlay. And this is mainly the trim you'll see being rented out at airports or local car rentals near you. But our next trim comes with a little bit more fancy features and options, and it's called the GT trim. No, not that GT. The Dodge Charger GT is the performance version of the SXT trim, coming equipped with these 20-inch wheels and producing 8 more horsepower at 300 horsepower even, still from the same V6 3.6 liter Pentastar engine. This vehicle is also available in both a rear-wheel drive and an all-wheel drive option, unlike any other trims that we will see later on in this video. You will also immediately notice the changes on the exterior of the car, as with the previously mentioned 20-inch wheels and these functional hood scoops that give the car a more aggressive look. And fun fact, the decision to add these hood scoops actually kinda upset a lot of V8 owners all around the world, as they felt like the V6 versions should not have these features, but Dodge said, "F all that, we want all of our money," so they went for it. But the changes don't just end on the exterior, as on the inside you also receive this 8-inch Uconnect infotainment system, giving you capabilities such as a Wi-Fi hotspot, Apple CarPlay, reverse camera, and also for an additional charge you can upgrade your seats to these suede seats, which provide you with heated and ventilated options as well. But a lot of people don't necessarily think of the V6 Chargers as a muscle car. Instead, that place belongs to the V8 Dodge Chargers, with the loud and deep raspy engine noises coming from the exhaust. And for those people, I'd say you're in luck, because the next trim is the start of the V8 engine packages, starting with the Dodge Charger RT, equipped with a 5.7 liter Hemi engine, producing 385 horsepower and 395 pound-feet of torque, capable of doing the 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 5.1 seconds, which is almost a full second faster than its V6 brother trims. Now this trim also has the exteriors and the interior features that the GT offers, plus some customizations such as the RT logo embedded into the seats, and these RT logos on the exterior, letting everybody know that you're a true V8 bro. And I also want to mention that this engine was shared with other more rare trims such as the Dodge Charger Daytona and the Dodge Charger RT Plus, with the performance numbers still being the same. Now if you're thinking to yourself, 385 horsepower isn't bad, but it doesn't sound like much for a 4,300 pound car, then the next trim might be a better choice for you, and it's called the Dodge Charger Scat Pack. Now this trim is equipped with the biggest engine you could get in a Dodge Charger, with the 6.4 liter naturally aspirated V8 Hemi engine, putting out an impressive 485 horsepower and 475 pound-feet of torque, allowing this beast to do the 0 to 60 miles per hour in just 4.2 seconds and the quarter mile in a respectable 12.1 seconds. Now the engine isn't the only thing that got upgraded with this trim either, as this trim also received the Brembo brakes in the front and the back to better slow you down at higher speeds. You could also get this trim in a wide body option, and the best part of all to me is the performance pages that comes available on this car, which allows you to choose which mode you like to put your car in, such as a sports mode or even a track mode for a more stiffer suspension, a tighter steering wheel for better handling, and even opening up the exhaust pipe some more to make the car even a bit louder, as if they weren't loud enough already. I also would like to take a moment to mention other trims that share the same engine, which are the Dodge Charger Daytona 392, the Dodge Charger Last Call Swinger Edition, the Dodge Charger SRT 392, and the wide body Dodge Charger Scat Packs. But if for some reason all of these features and 485 horsepower still isn't enough for you and you want more power, then you're definitely in luck, because this next trim blew everybody out the water and shook the entire car industry when it was first released, and it even has a word that I can't say in front of my grandma in its name, with it being none other than the Dodge Charger Hellcat, producing 707 horsepower until 2019, when Dodge decided to upgrade the horsepower to 717 and also upgrading the torque to 656 pound-feet of torque, allowing this 4,500 pound car to do the 0 to 60 in just 3.5 seconds and the quarter mile in a very impressive 11.7 seconds, which at the time that it was introduced in 2015, these numbers were almost supercar numbers for a fraction of the price, with a starting MSRP in the mid $60,000 range. And what initially made this car a no-brainer for fans, besides the power itself, was the fact that this car was an American-made muscle car, but with 4 doors where you can fit all your friends comfortably, and also have luxury features such as a heated steering wheel alongside ventilated and heated seats on the front seats and on the back seats. This car's announcement also pioneered the next trim that was introduced in 2019, which is called the Dodge Charger Red Eye, producing 797 horsepower and 717 pound-feet of torque, capable of doing the 0 to 60 in just 3.1 seconds, while doing a quarter mile in a very impressive 10.8 seconds, making even Dom Toretto himself proud. I also would like to clear up a common misconception that I noticed about these vehicles, which is the Red Eye and the Hellcat share the same engine, but in reality the Red Eye shares the same motor as the 2018 Dodge Demon with a 2.7 liter supercharger, which is bigger than the Hellcat's 2.4 liter supercharger. The Dodge Charger Red Eye was also only available in a wide body trim and an automatic transmission, and the other trims that share the same engine as the Red Eye are none other than the Red Eye Gel Brakes and the 2023 Last Call Edition Dodge Charger King Daytona, producing 807 horsepower. But sadly, 2023 was the final year that we'll be receiving these V8 Dodge Chargers, as starting 2025, Dodge will be introducing their all-EV electric Dodge Charger Daytona or the twin-turbo V6 650 horsepower Dodge Charger Scat Pack.